Hey everyone, we're going to give a few seconds for any that want to join us tonight for internet safety for parents of 6th through 12th graders, a chance to hop on. So welcome.
Hello.
Just a few more seconds. Welcome to any that's joining us. And before we get started, if you want to ask us a question during our presentation, make sure if you're joining us from Facebook, you may have to allow StreamYard to access your account so that it will allow you to make a comment. If you're on YouTube, you should be all good. So just type in the live comments, your question, and we'll be able to hopefully get to all your questions and address those. If you want to reach out to us right now and tell us hello, and that way we know who we are presenting to. All right. Well, welcome. We'll go and get started. I'm Adam Wiseman. I am a digital learning and innovation coordinator serving McDowell High School.
And I'm Eve Walker. I am the digital learning and innovation specialist serving West McDowell Middle School, Foothills Community School, and 4 of our elementary schools.
So tonight, if you are joining us, we are going to be covering some internet safety tips for parents of 6th through 12th graders. These are also great tips just as a everyday person to be aware of. So hopefully you'll get something out of tonight that will help you in guiding your child to be a good and responsible digital citizen. And we'll go and get started. So Eve, do you want to share your screen? And that way we can go ahead and all right. So Alyssa is going to be joining us hopefully later. She's having some technical difficulties, so we hope to being able to add Alyssa to our session tonight. So what, Eve, you want to share about what's on this slide?
Yeah, we're going to talk on a few safety points with you guys about what we're doing as a school district to protect your child on the internet and keep them safe. Just a little bit overall about privacy versus parent responsibility. And just the biggest thing is just talking to your child. And we're going to give you some pointers on what to talk about and what to look for. I think Adam and I both have a little bit on potentially dangerous apps for minors. And at the very end, we just have a simple acronym called SMART just to help you remember the real key points we talk about to go over with your child, and just remember those 5 letters and what they stand for. So I'll let Adam get started.
Alyssa, do you want to go ahead and since you got your tech issues resolved, we'll let you pick up here.
Okay, I'll be glad to. Yeah, welcome everybody. Anyway, so McDowell County Schools does a really good job of protecting our students and doing what we can to keep them safe online. If you'll notice on the screen, it talks about the Children's Internet Protection Act, which is also called CIPA. It requires our district and all districts to adopt measures to protect children from harmful and or obscene content. That's our job. That's what we're asked to do. And so what does McDowell County Schools do with that? We have an internet filter, and it's applied to all Chromebooks and any district-owned devices. So even if your child's in kindergarten or first grade and they have a tablet that they, were issued, or on up to 12th grade and they have Chromebooks, all of those have the internet filter on them. So it's supposed to filter out any harmful content. Obviously, nothing's 100%, and people figure out ways around stuff. And so things like that happen, but we're doing everything humanly possible that we can do. So school-owned devices and accounts are monitored. They're monitored during school hours. So during school hours, teachers and the staff are responsible for monitoring the students. But once they're at home and it's after school hours, then that's the parents' job to monitor what they're doing on their computer. The filter's still on, but they're not being monitored by us at that point. So that's kind of what that is. Okay. Let's see. If you'll flip to the next one for me. I'm not sure who's driving.
Sorry.
Yep. So on this one, it just talks about, this is kind of it's true, but it's staggering to think about. So if you think about teenagers, anywhere from middle school, 6th grade on up, 94% of those teens have a mobile device and are online daily of some sort. And so that's why this is vitally important for them and you to talk about internet safety and digital safety and that kind of thing, because they are online. So, and I'm not sure where I'm supposed to end, but technology, it's a great thing when it's used correctly. It's not so great when it starts getting abused by anybody. So technology can't catch everything. So communicate. And that means students communicating with teachers, teachers communicating with students, students communicating with their parents and their guardians at home. You got to talk, and you need to talk about what you're seeing, what you're doing, if you find things inappropriate and that kind of thing. And we'll get into that in a minute. But communication is vitally important for safety and success with technology.
All right, so there are risks at every age with just anything. So with younger children, it's good to start them out with, starting helping them seeing how to appropriately access things. So maybe a gradual release of things. So we'll focus on younger children at another session upcoming. Our focus tonight is on teens and tweens, so middle school and high school students. So as your child gets older, they will be faced with more opportunities and also more threats. And so these are the biggest ones that we'll be talking about. So one is cyberbullying. We'll be looking at what that exactly is and how you can pick up on that if your child's being cyberbullied, and what to help your child with. Also, what to recognize with some behaviors if you suspect maybe your child is either an onlooker to cyberbullying or maybe participating in cyberbullying. We'll also be talking about sexting, posting personal inappropriate information, meeting offline. Also, we'll be talking about privacy issues. Okay, Eve. We can't see the slides. It's okay.
Sorry. Can you see it now?
Yes.
I think it's just, there's a delay. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I had a phone call coming in. Pardon me.
You want to skip to the next slide?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So first off, with inappropriate content, that's like pornography, excessive violence, hate speech, risky and illegal behaviors. So, as your child gets older, once again, they may come into contact with some of this stuff. They also may be curious, and that leads them to maybe accessing stuff that may be inappropriate. But like Alyssa said, the district does have a filter that kind of helps guide them and restricts their access when they're on district-owned devices. But once again, nothing can take the place of human monitoring, and we are a team, so we view our families as part of our team, and it is a team effort. So make sure that you have that open door of communication with your student. So if you do suspect your student or your child is maybe accessing inappropriate content, these are some good tips to help address that. So don't frighten them, because we all make mistakes. So it's a good maybe talking point if it's something that's kind of minor that they have accessed. Listen to them, stay calm, reassure them it's not their fault, and then be there to answer some questions with them. And if it is something illegal that either they were sent or that they've accessed, help them report it to the proper people. And we'll be sharing with you some resources that will help answer some of those questions or provide you with some situations and what to do if you do come across this with your child. On the student side, so what should they do? So, if they do access something inappropriate, then the first easiest thing is just to turn off the screen. Then they can use the back button to get back in a safe place. And then, importantly, tell a trusted adult. So the first stop is you as the parent. They should tell you as the parent. And then they should feel comfortable talking to a teacher or a principal about that if they feel like that they need to. And then that way we can provide them with the support that they need as well. We can skip to the next slide. So, okay, Eve.
So just a little bit about online privacy, what's okay, what's not okay. Pictures of family and friends, personal information, these kinds of things your child should not be giving out to people they do not know, that are not close friends or family. So conversations with unknown people in an online game is not a good idea. Creating videos on streaming services, checking in or sharing current location online, that should always be turned off. That's because that tells a predator exactly where your child's at, where you live. Sending, viewing, sharing explicit or provocative pictures. Obviously, that is always a bad idea. And they get to this age where, their friends are not necessarily friends, but people they know or acquaintances from the bus or whatnot that may be older. That has been happening in the middle school and high school somewhat. And as a matter of fact, the middle school had the assistant, I believe the district attorney, and one of the judges from the McDowell County Court come and talk to them about what can happen if you share inappropriate pictures or ask for them or share them with other people after you've gotten them. There's lots of charges that can happen in jail time. So they had a real serious talk with all of our 7th graders last week about that. But obviously, these things are not okay because nothing's private on the internet, and it can lead to people finding out where they live, asking them really inappropriate things that you don't want them to be exposed to. So all these things need to be discussed with your child at home, as well as at school with the curriculum we use. Again, personal information, they need to know how to, that their passwords should be very something complicated that nobody can guess and not be shared with anybody. Home address, location, home and cell phone numbers, email addresses. Those are things only used for school or for personal use amongst family members, not on the internet. Some of the risks for sharing the personal information, they need to know that people steal your identity. They need to know about online scams, hacking, phishing, online enticement. There are so many things constantly enticing young people on the internet to buy this or to do this or to click here and join. And then they end up having, at the very least, they get a lot of spam and crazy emails they don't need in their school accounts. And at the worst, they could have identity theft or sextortion, which is when people are trying to blackmail them into over those pictures and things. So they really have to be careful about sharing personal information, not share personal information online. As parents, what you can do as parents is establish rules about what they can share, what's allowed, learn about reporting options, help them set privacy settings. For all their accounts, there's different, most all accounts, even a lot of the apps they like have privacy settings. If they have a cell phone, you need to go over their apps with them and check out those privacy settings, make sure they're set to the most private setting possible so strangers cannot contact them. Help them create strong passwords that other people can't access, and then talk about friends lists. That's a big issue with middle school and high school. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and they need to know they can't just friend anybody that's on there because they want to have higher numbers or whatever, or higher streaks or whatever with Snapchat. It's not about that. It's about being safe. That's the most important thing. So, look at their friend list. If they have people you don't recognize, then chances are they're friending all kinds of people, and that needs to be cut out because it's not safe. And sexting was a big topic the other day too with the district attorney. That was the biggest thing they focused on, was asking for nude photos, sending or posting nudes or partially nude images. Research suggests that 15% of teens have sexted, and 27% of them say they have received a sext. So this is like a boyfriend asking for, a partially nude or nude photo, or another boy off the bus asking a girl for that, or, girls sending them out. That's an offense too if you actually send one. So they need to know that there's jail time for this stuff at the at the worst case scenario. And well, not the worst case, actually. The worst case is if they send it out and it's used against them to humiliate them, to sextortion where they get blackmailed for it. That happens. So they need to know how serious this is. And again, if they live in your house, I don't know that everybody agrees with me on this, but if they live under your roof, their phone and their privacy is part of your business. So, if you just suspect any kind of inappropriateness, or even if you don't, look through their phone with them every once in a while, see what's going on in there, because you have a right to know as a parent. And again, why are they sexting? When this goes on, it's maybe to impress somebody. There's a lot of peer pressure involved. Sometimes it's to be funny. There's a lot of immaturity here, obviously, but experimenting with relationships, sexual behavior, and boundaries, some of that's very normal for this age, unfortunately, but then with technology, it can get out of hand. So they just have to know whatever they send out is out there forever. And it's never a good idea to send anything like that could be used against them or harm themselves with. And this is a little video we can skip. This is about, you could play this for your student or your child later. So some of the consequences we just talked about of sexting: humiliation, bullying, blackmail, school discipline, obviously, and police involvement can be a factor as well. Charges brought against them. So what you can do, talk about the consequences, talk about those things that can happen. Tell them to never forward a sexting image. If someone sends them one, they need to show it to an adult right away, show it to a teacher, go to the school resource officer. Because if they don't tell somebody and it's on their phone, they can get in trouble for it. So if anybody were to send them something, they need to let an adult know right away. Discuss healthy relationships with them. I mean, I think a big factor here is self-esteem, especially with some of our young ladies. So talk to them about what a healthy relationship looks like. That should never be something appropriate for someone to be asking you for a naked photo or nude photo. Talk about ways an image can spread online with them, because there's so many. Even with Snapchat, they think it disappears, but they know very good and well that someone can take a screenshot and save it forever and share it with people. And then you can report it to cybertipline.org. So that's a website you can report any of this to be addressed. And I'm going to let Mr. Wiseman take over here.
All right, so and solicitation just means it's either someone's trying to communicate with your student, and they can get through all these social media apps that your student may be a part of. That's how some of these solicitations occur. And it can be, like a personal solicitation, or it could be from a company soliciting your student for information. So it's not just limited to individuals. It could be companies that could be soliciting information from your student. All right, next slide. Here we go. So what you can do, once again, the big key word with everything that we're talking about tonight is communication, having that open door of communication with your student. And that will help with a lot of things with having that open door of communication. Set a policy, and with all this stuff, it is good to set some boundaries, set some rules. I would say, the easiest thing to do would be, to take every piece of technology away from them, but that generally is not the correct way to approach stuff like this, because I've seen it in an experience with a parent taking away all the technology, and then that student, when they went out with their friends or when they got to school, they were borrowing their friend's phone, to resume their online behavior. So the biggest piece of advice would be to be aware as a parent, and that way you can help set those boundaries for your student. And also, like Eve talked about, it is within your rights as a parent to get your student to log in to their McDowell County Schools account, so you can, check their history, their phone. You pay for their phone, so it's well within your rights as a parent to get that phone and have them log in, so you can see what they've been doing. Okay. And then there's some apps out there that you can get that helps you set some limits on their internet and a device usage. So this is just talking about kids are capable of, making the right decision. So if they're made aware of this stuff and taught some, some ways to know what to do, then they can stop it at its source, and then they can use that as a learning experience.
And I just want to add, I have seen some of this type of messaging going on back and forth with some of our middle schoolers this year. So, and some of them have been good about, closing it down like this and getting off of there. And some have let people push them to the limits. So, or past to an inappropriate point. So, just be aware of what they're doing on there. Especially, when they're at home with you, because they're a lot of it's, I hate to say it, but a lot of it's curiosity. And then the other components are just the pressure and just the different things they're advertising on the sites that they like to go to. So just keep an eye out for what they're doing and who they're talking to, and talk to them about this kind of stuff.
So if you come across any photos that are obscene, or if your child sends those, then make sure you address that. If someone sends your child explicit images, then you can report that to the cybertipline.org. Or you can also report that to the local authorities. You can also report that to your child's school, and we can help guide you in how to get that to the right person. Lastly, we're going to talk about cyberbullying. So cyberbullying, that is easy to do, or be a part of, or be a victim of. And so we're going to focus more on if you suspect your child is a victim of cyberbullying. So if they suddenly stop using their computer or their cell phone, or if they act nervous when they receive an email or a Snapchat or something like that, or if they seem uneasy about going to school, or they withdraw from their family or their friends, then that might be, a sign that they may be being bullied, either cyberbullying or physical bullying. So don't ignore any of those signs. And once again, keep that open door of communication. So the differences between cyberbullying and physical bullying: cyberbullying spreads faster. It's got a worldwide audience, most generally, and it does follow your child home, because we live in a connected world. And so cyberbullying can be more devastating and more severe than actual physical bullying. We will skip that video. This is a video. We're going to be sharing these resources with you. So this might be a good video for you to watch with your student. Is talking about what is cyberbullying. Next slide, Eve, please. We've already talked about that. So next slide. All right, so how can you as a parent help? So once again, support your child and help them solve the problem together with you. Save the evidence. So any evidence of cyberbullying, take some screenshots of it, or download it, or print it if possible. A good first step to try is to, after you save the evidence, block those cyberbullies. So whatever social media accounts or email or whatever, block the people that are doing the cyberbullying. And then you might have to set up a new account. You can talk to the school. We're always here to help. There's other resources that you can get to report cyberbullying and get assistance. So some cyberbullying behaviors. This is a perpetrator of cyberbullying. So if you notice your child quickly switching screens, or closes programs, or uses the computer at all hours, gets upset if they can't use the computer. They avoid discussions about what they're doing, or they're using multiple online accounts. Don't ignore those behaviors. It could mean that they may be participating in cyberbullying, or maybe some other inappropriate behaviors. That might be an opportunity for you to look at their accounts and see what they've been doing. So how can you prevent some of these behaviors if you suspect your child is being a cyberbully or maybe a bystander? Most importantly, monitor as best as you can and intervene in your child's behavior the same you would with offline behavior. Establish those expectations. At the school level, we try to help your child learn to be a responsible digital citizen. But once again, I will reiterate, it is a team effort. So we need your help as a parent to help us, model and establish those expectations for how they should act online. And it's good to establish those consequences for not acting appropriately online as well. If your child is a bystander, that means that they are not being a cyberbully. They're not a victim of cyberbullying, but they know that cyberbullying is happening. Then once again, establish that open line of communication with your child. Let them know how to report if they suspect one of their friends are being cyberbullied, or somebody they know is being a cyberbully. Encourage them and help them know how to report that.
So just some additional steps you can take to protect your child online and at home. What we can all do to keep our kids safe. We had mentioned filtering and monitoring software. You can go to getnetwise.org to search for the software that best fits your needs. There's all kinds out there for apps for their smartphones, for your desktop, for your computers. If you feel like you need that, they're great tools. I totally advocate for that. Consult your cell phone or internet service provider. Many of them have monitoring options for your child's cell phone or parent controls you can use that are really handy in keeping them safe and setting limits with the internet as well. Look at the individual apps they're using. Many apps have the option to turn off chat features or limit who can see what your child posts within the app. Again, there's some privacy features that are really important in a lot of those. Just make sure that you look at those with them, that they're using and that they're set appropriately. And then explore built-in security features for programs and websites as well. And the biggest thing is just to remember to be an aware parent. Mostly what we've talked about tonight is communication. Communication is key to their safety on the internet because, there's always things that are coming up, new apps, new workarounds that they find. And, if they know all the dangers and know, how to be safe and how to treat people, and you set the example and you've just had these discussions about all these things, continuously, it's going to be very helpful for them. I won't go over all these. These are basically some of the things that we've been over tonight, just some steps to protecting your child from online predators. And Adam, did you want to talk about this a little bit?
This is a resource, and we posted how to access our information in these slides in the chat. It's also on the screen there. But this is a good link that shows you some social media red flags that you should know about. It talks to you about some of the apps your kids may be accessing, and what they are and what to look out for. So that's a really good resource that I would highly suggest that you take a look at.
And this was just an acronym I'd found that I thought made it real simple to kind of go over these things with your children whenever SMART. So S is stay safe. Don't give out personal information to people or places you don't know. M, don't meet up. Meeting someone you have only been in touch with online can be dangerous. A is for accepting files. Never accept files, emails, pictures, or texts from people you don't know or whatever you don't know. I mean, we get texts all the time that are, it says it might say it's from Amazon, and there's no way it's from Amazon. It's a weird number, and Amazon never sends you texts. So just don't click those kinds of things. Talk to them about that. R for reliable. Make sure you check information before you believe it. Is the person or website telling the truth? So that's kind of the same, on the same lines as what I was just saying. Make sure you verify that it's actually an email from PayPal or wherever. And T, tell someone. This is really important. Make sure they know to tell an adult if someone or something makes you feel worried or uncomfortable, and talk about it. Many of the resources we had tonight were from NetSmarts, from missingkids.org. So you can go there. That's a great place for resources on internet safety. We also have a Wakelet linked in here that has many parent resources for internet safety. There is a good one on there about some popular apps right now that your students may be using that have some, it kind of gives you like the lowdown on if they're safe or not, and if they're not safe, why. So pay attention to that. And that's pretty much what we have tonight. We have our emails here if you need to email any of us with any other questions, and we would be glad to take questions right now.
If you have any questions, feel free to type those in the comments or the chat. We'll stay on just a few minutes to see if there's anything we can try to answer.
Alyssa's enjoying the sunshine outside, it looks like, on her new deck.
You're muted, Alyssa.
Yeah, it's quieter out here.
Do we have any questions from anyone? Or?
Yeah, our goal tonight was to inform you, hopefully not to scare you. Some of this stuff can be scary as a parent. And the most important thing is the more aware you are and the more that you communicate with your student. I know that can be hard, especially with middle school and high school students. They seem to, not want to communicate with you as much as they used to.
And they know everything.
Yeah. But just hopefully some things to look out for, and know where to find the information should you suspect your child may be a victim or maybe participate in some of this stuff. And if anything else, you can reach out to your child's school, and we can get you the support and the information that you need.
Yeah, Sandy mentioned that gaming also has the same problems. One of the articles in the Wakelet is on potentially dangerous apps, and there's several gaming apps listed there. But I mean, I think even when you're doing a lot of these gaming things that they enjoy online have chat, and if they don't know who they're chatting with, it can become a cyberbullying issue or a sexting issue, lots of those things. So I'm glad she mentioned that, because gaming, a lot of the gaming online is, it's the same situation. So most all this will cover and pertain to that as well.
and most generally, your kids probably, if they, like with the game I read, I forget which game it was, but someone had hijacked the game and they displayed some inappropriate material, and most generally your kids probably would come and tell someone that's happened. So like we talked about, give your kids the benefit of the doubt if they've been made aware of what to do should they come across any of this stuff that we talked about. All right. Any other questions?
I know kids are.
Sorry.
I was just going to mention how into YouTube they are too, and they have all these YouTube people they follow and they're really into, but YouTube comments can get really nasty and inappropriate sometimes. So that they're exposed to it no matter where they're at. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but and like Adam said, there's so many useful tools out there, and gosh, what would we do without YouTube? But just be aware and just use the suggestions in the slideshow that we went over, and just communicate and look at what they're looking at. So that'll be the best advice we can give anybody.
And also, once again, going off of what Eve said, model appropriate behavior too. So your kids are watching you, they're watching their friends, they're watching their teachers. So the more that we all can model appropriate online behavior, and technology is great. And like with anything, it can be used for bad things too. So the more positive reinforcements and positive modeling that they can experience, the better digital citizen they will be. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us tonight. We hopefully you were able to take away something that will be beneficial to you as you go along your way with your child. So you have a great evening, and we'll see you later.
Bye. Thank you all.